All right, welcome back to the episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight we got Alex, Chris, and Keith. And per a subscriber's request, we are going to talk a little bit about the XFL and how their season's going. We're going to talk about the two undefeated teams, and then we're going to get into some of these rule changes and kind of our thoughts around some of the different things that the XFL is doing compared to the NFL. So before we get into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. We appreciate you if you're already a subscriber. Obviously, we're on the push for 300. Make sure you like the video for us so that it becomes more popular. And as always, like we're doing now, hit us in the comments. You know we'll get back with you and we'll talk about what you want us to talk about. So the Defenders, the DC Defenders, and the Houston Roughnecks, the two undefeated teams in the league right now. Some really interesting stuff going on. I mean, I was looking through some of the player stats to kind of figure out who's playing where. Ben DiNucci obviously was a backup quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. This guy's leading the league in passing yards with 855 in just 3 games for Seattle. He's throwing to an I'd say really popular NFL player in Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, off the weed enough, I guess, to play in the XFL. So A.J. McCarron, everybody's kind of been a big fan of A.J. McCarron for a long time. Guy's third in the league right now in passing yards and touchdowns. Houston Roughnecks quarterback Brandon Silvers is the second in passing yards and touchdowns. And I'll tell you what, I mean, the guy...
Eric Dungey's out there.
Eric Dungey's out there.
Syracuse, yeah.
Brandon's from Troy. He was a good quarterback at Troy when they were a 10-win team. A couple names that I recognized on the Houston Roughnecks team: Cole McDonald, former quarterback at Hawaii, and his main receiver Cedric Byrd is on there. Cedric's playing a little bit for them. Another guy, Max Borgi, was a running back for Washington State. We were big on this kid for a couple of years ago. He was actually a really popular running back for Washington State, but. And then you look over the DC team, Eric Dungey, DeKaren King from
Miami
and Houston. He was really better with the Houston Cougars.
He was much better with Houston.
And then Jordan Ta'amu, which we were making fun of because the guy had A.J. Brown and D.K. Metcalf
on the same team.
And really wasn't that good at Ole Miss.
No,
he was not that good when he had both
of those. He was highly talented.
Really good receivers.
He was highly talented coming in. But another name I saw on there was Brett Hundley. And out there too, the old UCLA quarterback.
Yeah, he's out there.
Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to look down the DC Defenders. I don't know that I recognize quite any of these people. Oh, DeMarcus Hayes. He was another pretty high draft pick. There's some offensive linemen here that didn't pan out in the NFL that are really getting some second shots here in the XFL. David Bellamy was another Georgia Bulldog that has been around for a while. Jamal Brooks was in the NFL. So, there's a couple. I would say there's really some interesting names, especially on the offensive side of the XFL. Paxton Lynch, everybody's known pretty well about Paxton Lynch. Jack Cohn was at Stanford. Running back wise, we talked about Max already. He's third in the league right now in yardage. He's got 2 touchdowns tied with the league lead. So that's why we saw Brett Hundley. He was actually in there for rushing.
No, he was there for passing too.
Yeah.
He was further down because he wasn't really that great.
Yeah, he's 326. In fact, he's only played 2 games too, though.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And then I don't know if there's any really. Cody Latimer's a receiver that's been in the NFL. Hakeem Butler's a name I recognize. We talked about Josh Gordon, but not really sure there's a whole lot of guys in the receiving category. But some interesting things going on with the XFL. Obviously, DC Defenders and Roughnecks still undefeated. Right behind them, the Arlington Renegades and the Seattle Battlehawks. So I think those are kind of the 4 teams that are really battling to win the XFL this year. The other teams don't look like they quite have it all together. So, but let's talk about some of the things that they're doing different. Would love to hear y'all's opinion. And I'll start with the 4th and 15 for the onside. Like, do you want to see the onside? Do you like the option to take the 4th and 15? Several teams have already converted it in the XFL.
I think the 4th and 15 rule kind of plays. Yeah, because it's going to be hit or miss either way, but I think you have a better chance of converting a 4th and 15 than you do converting an onside kick.
Yeah, I agree. It's it gives the better options. I mean, the way the NFL is handcuffed the onside kick rules, to where you
can't
stack, you got to have
yeah.
even splits, you can't touch people between blah blah blah, and they just put so many things in it to where to be the kicking team and execute or recover an onside kick, I mean, the stars have to align for you. So it's cool to see another option, but I think you get to the point where it's almost kind of gimmicky to do that. I wish the NFL would revamp their own onside kick rules, but I like it. 'Cause, sometimes these teams just are so good that they just get fucked by an onside kick.
Right.
Having zero shot of recovering it.
Well, do you do something like where you only offer it like maybe they like a challenge? You can only do it once, twice a game, or
something
twice,
like that.
Yeah, to where you're not doing it every single play or every single time you go to kick off. But maybe it's one of those things that you look at doing like twice a game. If you miss it, you lose one, just like a challenge type of thing. But I definitely think it's an enhancement. Something that I would like to see the NFL maybe potentially try.
Yeah.
Because with the way defenses are played now, defenses can prevent the 15-yard play, and if you can't, then you shouldn't be playing defense for the NFL.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm with Alex on this, where it feels gimmicky. It feels stupid, but you've also seen already in the XFL season more 4th and 15 onside recoveries than we had the entire NFL season this past year. Right.
Well,
and so it really does give a team a chance. But also, I'm kind of feeling like, do we really want to give a team something that gives them a better chance of getting the ball back, or do we want to stick with something that really, 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 really makes them earn it back?
Well, but it's still hard to convert a 15-yard play.
It should be.
It's still hard to convert a 15-yard play. We do see big chunk plays happen a lot, but how many chunk plays do you see in a game? Typically, 3, maybe 4 chunk plays a game like that.
Depends on.
And when is it? And when you need it, it shows up. And
right.
To actually execute the 4th and 15 is still just as tough because. The pressure of the moment of this is it, do or die.
And the offense,
and the defense is going to have to step up. If the defense can't stop that, why shouldn't the other offense continue to get the ball and try to score and make up more points?
Yeah. Well, and it makes your defense play too, because then do you follow the same rules if you get a holding, it's automatic first down. So you got to play tighter. You got to play. You got to make sure you're playing your defense soundly. You can't go out there and just hold the guy because you
can't go out there and just cream some dude to get a personal foul, and then all of a sudden. They just converted because you gave them the penalty.
Right, exactly. So it's still because those happen on onside kicks too. So it happens on both sides of the field. But
yeah, I'm interested. I actually don't know that rule. I don't know whether.
I would imagine
let's say there's a pass interference on the 4th and 15 on try. Do they they get a 4th and 5 then for their next try, or what?
Well, a PI is an automatic first down.
I know, but I wonder if do they automatically get the ball?
Does that count as an onside recovery?
That seems pretty rough. Just to get flagged for a PI and then you automatically give the ball back.
But that keeps you. That makes you have to play defense better.
They converted the first down.
Because what's keeping it from being 4th and 15 or 1st and 10?
If you were on the offense, you would want those penalties to stick and count.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think to be fair, since we're going for an onside return. It would if I was making the rules, I would say you get flagged for a PI, it's a 4th and 5, right? Instead of making them convert this absurd 4th and 15, they need 1 5-yard play. They can get it now.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way that you could look at it, but that would have to be another. I would imagine if you take that to the NFL, the CBA is going to have to review that, and the players association would have to review
I like
that.
what you mentioned though earlier. I was thinking more on it after you said it. What if it was something where if you convert the first one, you get an opportunity at the next one, and every time once you miss it, you can't do it again. But as long as you keep converting them, you get as many tries as you want.
So, I like that little wrinkle in the playbook there, but but chances are, how many onside kicks are you really going to be going for in a game? You don't. Now you do see them. You see them more often than not, but
is it the Presbyterian football coach?
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, he does it every time.
Yeah. He always goes for onside kicks. He literally doesn't kick it deep. So
the blue hose.
The blue hose. Yeah. But that guy's going for 4th and 15 every time.
He don't care. He ain't got kickers.
So, he literally doesn't.
He ain't got
conversions. He doesn't punt, so he plays it as
We're going, baby.
Yeah.
Balls in the wall.
Okay, so let's talk about these extra point or these 2-point conversion, 3-point conversion, 4-point conversion things. Thoughts on this? Obviously 2.5 yards you get the 2, 5 yards you get the 3, and 10 yards you get the 4. It gives an opportunity for the
4-point conversion, I think, is a little gimmicky because they're scoring a touchdown and then also getting a field goal. So if you're down by 10, you somehow just tied it up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also understand it to where it's like
Play defense.
everybody's getting the same opportunity. So I mean, you're just changing how they score. So it's not like you're changing it from one side to the other. It's just it's weird. It's different. But I do like because does the NFL back you up for a 2-point conversion?
No, you're still at the 2.
You're still
Two
at
and
the
a
2.
half.
Yeah.
Okay. I do like that though, to where as the point conversion goes up, they move you further away.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do like that.
I think I would like to just see a 2 and 3. I think 4, like Alex is saying, a little gimmicky, but I think 4 might be a little too much.
Because I mean, 4-point is what, like, strategically we've seen teams go down and they're like, all right, let's just settle for field goal, get 3 easy points, go up by 10. But now you're all of a sudden like, all right, now all that team has to do is go score a touchdown
And make it
and make a
4-point
conversion
Yeah.
from the 10-yard line?
Yeah.
Which I mean, that's not like anything crazy.
It's not. I mean, it's not.
I mean, hell, the onside kick's harder than the damn 4-point conversion.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's iffy.
I would be okay with
It does. I mean, it changes the whole strategy of the game too, though. At this
It
point.
does. It really throws that piece of paper out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, you don't know what to do.
Like, all right, let's settle for a field goal. But like, no, let's fucking not, because they're gonna get a 4-point conversion.
Yeah.
It's
They're
like,
going
oh,
to
okay,
beat us by
yeah.
1. Or they're going to tie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like you're still talking about somebody having to convert a 4th and 10 to get these 4 points, though. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, I get that, but I mean, how many touchdowns do you see happen within the 10-yard line? I mean, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot.
I feel like
especially
if you go for a 4-point conversion, running the football's out of the question. Like, it's got to be a pass.
Well, running the football is out of the question from the 5, for the most part.
For the most part. I mean, you can run a QB draw.
Unless you did like an extreme delay or something, where the running back is back there blocking, and
Statue
then you
replay.
finally just like give it to him and he goes. But I mean, any options out there? 'Cause I mean, why not run the ball? Because everybody's gonna be playing pass defense.
Yeah.
You know, it's that loop of, all right, we're thinking I'm doing this, I'm gonna do this, and then they're thinking I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, and it's just it goes around and around. But I mean, I don't know how I feel about the 4-point conversion, but I do like the 2 and the 3 being tougher as it increments.
I think I would be okay
Four
with
almost four is almost to the point of gimmicky again.
I think I would be okay with the 2 and the 3. I think the 4 is a little too much. I like the 2 and the 3 because if you like Alex saying, if you're down by 10, you get a 4-point conversion. I mean, yeah, that might prolong a game, but then if you're only allowing them to make 9 points versus 10, you know that you can have the opportunity to try to get the ball back and settle for a field goal to win the game.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it just 4 points seems to be a little too much for me.
Yeah. I think the only thing that I'll say about the 4 points and being able to score those 10 points in one score here essentially is it will help keep the games a little more interesting. I think
It will.
I think it always, like, having somebody be able to get 10 points in one fell swoop here makes the games a little more intense, keeps them closer than somebody having to think about, all right, I gotta get down to the 30, kick a field goal, then get an onside kick, then drive and then score just to be able to tie this.
I mean, it can be one of those things too, to where it's like, watch this team become like the Presbyterian coach, where they do nothing but go for 4.
Yeah.
Because I mean, hell, why not? Because you can either just get 6 points or you can get 10. I mean, it's like imagine you get the 4-point conversion 3 times in a row. All of a sudden, you scored 3 times, but now you're up 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
At some point, that's going to get rid of a big part of the game, which is the kicking game. Because a lot of people use their kickers as weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, especially Bill Belichick was big on it of having a left-footed kicker, a punter, to get those extra spins and the extra bounces and everything. So,
yeah.
I mean, it kind of takes away from the game a little bit. I mean, that's the punting side, but I mean, the kicking side, if you get to the point where you're going for 2, 3, or 4 the entire time, then I mean, that's gonna kill part of what the game already has,
Yeah, that's interesting. So last thing that I kind of really thought of when I thought of the XFL is I love how you mentioned it, hear the reviews when they're reviewing a play.
That's huge.
You mentioned the challenges that come with it, being able to challenge any play.
No, I get it, flip-flop.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I like how when they challenge it or whenever the play is getting reviewed for whatever reason, and they go back to the replay booth. The NFL, we just see that dumb ref with the headset on, looking at his little tablet, just going, while New York tells him what they're seeing. But at least in the XFL, like the one game I caught where they actually had this happen a couple times, it went to this guy and they had a camera in there where you had a bunch of like studio engineers throwing up different angles and time frames, syncing it up with the actual game clock and all that stuff. And you had that one rules official like sitting there doing this, pointing at the screens, and he was talking. He was like, all right, show me camera 1, roll it to 5 seconds. And then he'd stop and he'd be like, all right, knees down, ball's already moving. We're going to go with a clear fumble here. And like he's talking it through, right? And you can hear all that. And you're like, so it's not like in the NFL where all of a sudden they come back on a crucial review, which we've seen a lot here lately, to where all of a sudden they're just like
you get no
they're
explanation.
Like yeah, like the ball and the runner will disappear in the pile up, and all of a sudden they'll still roll it as like a fumble, and it's like how they just all they said was it was a fumble recovered by the defense. The XFL, you can actually hear that rules analyst and see what he's seeing while he's talking about it. It's like it's taking out all the guesswork and the fans being pissed off because they truly know at least where the decision came from. You're not just being
how they came up with that decision.
Yeah.
Versus the decision just being made.
Yeah. I love the ability to challenge anything, anytime.
Well, the
NFL
tried that with the PI and stuff. I mean, they tried it.
Yeah.
I mean, at a certain point, does that? I mean, I understand it does help with changing the trajectory of the game, but at a certain point, aren't you starting to take away from the game at a certain point where you're reviewing every minute detail?
Well, I mean, I like it because we saw the Super Bowl where it was either the Super Bowl or the NFC.
It was the NFC Championship with New Orleans, if that's what you're thinking.
No, I'm thinking of
we
saw or at least in the Super Bowl, we saw the Chiefs line was holding a lot.
That was
at least from what we just
the AFC Championship.
And then also in the Super Bowl, I think it was the Super Bowl or was the NFC Championship, I can't remember. But like I remember there was being a pass play, and the guy that dropped the ball was behind Zach Ertz, who was laying out a safety.
Yeah.
And it was like, how the fuck are you throwing a pass play and your center is downfield and he didn't catch the ball? Remember we got this big arm with Bobo because he's like, well, they didn't complete the pass. But yeah, that's still an ineligible man downfield.
Right.
Like I do agree with that challenge because sometimes shit like that happens. Like you could clearly see on the national broadcast their center is 10 yards down the field. Pass play. It's like, how did the refs miss that? You know, like if I was the coach on the other sideline, I would love to go to throw that red flag and hit Zach Ertz in the head with it and be like, that motherfucker's downfield. Like, so I do agree with this. I do agree that challenging and stuff like that because at that point, I mean, it just increases the pressure on the refs just to get it right, do your job.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with it. I mean, I totally agree there are a lot of blown calls that don't get called. I mean, there was the clear part of that was the AFC divisional game where Jamar Chase knew he dropped the pass and got up and was like, let's go. And they got him up to the line and they got a playoff and they had no chance.
And then as soon as they showed the replay, you could clearly see that he ball was in his knees when he was on the stomach. Very bad. I mean, and it's one of those things too where almost every play you can call some sort of penalty. So of course you got to.
There's holding on every play.
But like it's the ones that you have to really call to where like you see a lineman just getting completely turned sideways as he's about to blow past and get to the quarterback. Like, you have to call them. And if you can challenge it, get it, challenge it.
Yeah,
So.
I think the last thing that I was thinking about that I really loved is being able to hear, like from a former player standpoint, and like just the game.
Hearing the play calls,
right?
Yeah.
And trying to break down like what their play call means and what it ends up like the small pieces of what the whole play call means and stuff. So, I would love Tony Romo to actually just do one of these games.
Yeah.
And just hear the play call come in and then Tony break it down.
Yep. This is what's happening.
Tell you this is what happened.
Yeah.
So,
that'd be really cool.
The wideouts going here, the hot routes going here, the tight end's going to go do this.
Yeah. I will say that I really think there are some things in the XFL that the NFL should consider adopting. I think some of the stuff that we're just kind of seeing and testing.
Well, you probably will see it in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
The big one for me is I want to hear the conversation between the refs.
And
that needs to happen.
I really do.
Because I mean, there are some times like when you just leave a game just with you just being like it just feels like something was so one-sided. It doesn't make sense. Like having these refs mic'd up to where they're just like, "Hey, I saw 65 clearly face mask, blah blah blah," and then the broadcast booth being able to like be like, "Oh shit, that's what they're talking about. Let's throw the replay up."
Yeah.
Like that synchronization is just, I think, crucial to a lot of fans' enjoyment. So I mean,
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that on the college level too. Because there's a lot of times these same thing happens in the college level, and it's just like, what are y'all looking at? Like, how are you coming up with your decision based off of what you're seeing? It makes no sense.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
No, I think we'll be
good. All right. Hit us in the comments. Let us know what you think about the XFL and how their season's going. And as always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.